Good evening, sir.
Yeah, how are you?
All good, sir. So, before, sir, I start the interview, I would just like to give our viewers a brief introduction about you. So, today we have on board Dr. Raul Rodriguez from Woxsen University. So, starting with a brief description, talking about some of the milestones that you have achieved till date and even continue to carry the baton even further every day. So, you started your journey, a long artist journey to complete 3 degrees in business administration, MHRM, and big data from Universidad Isabel in Spain, and went on to pursue PhD in artificial intelligence and robotic process automation from San Miguel University in Mexico. With over 24 publications and research papers under his belt, and after being featured in innumerable tech magazines, you've been recently nominated for the Forbes 30 Under 30 Europe 2020 list. So, to run through such a vast list of accolades and achievements across multiple domains would take days to shed light upon. Respecting the clock, sir, I believe it's time to gather your insights on our campaign Thoughts in Education. So my first question for you, sir, is you have held key positions at education institutes throughout your professional career. What are the key factors that keep you connected with this sector?
Well, basically, education sector is what drives the industry, and we need to make sure that there is an industry and education connection, especially since I am from Spain and I have seen the European as well as the Indian perspective of both industry and educational side. What keeps us connected is truly that development, that innovation that can happen only from the educational roots and landing into a real life application, which is obviously the industry. So this is mainly it, that interconnection.
Great, sir. So currently standing as an esteemed dignitary of your institute, so what is your philosophy on leadership? How would you describe your style of leadership?
Well, I truly rely upon transformational leadership, which is also one of my, I published 2 books. One of the books was on transformational leadership in particular. And that is a type of leadership which is focused upon utilizing the best resources among your peers and among your team, but also using their best skills. That means making use of their motivation, making use of their inspiration, and making use, of course, of their abilities, all combined towards a common goal, rather than just a standard corporate leadership goal. It's more of a team-based role. So that's the key method which I follow, and so far it has been working just fine.
Good to hear, sir. Perfectly accurate. So how do you strategize about the key programs and plans for the marketing and administration of your school?
Well, the school, we have various management bodies, of course, various management positions. Among the bodies, we have the Academic Advisory Board, and as well as Academic Council, which follows with the Board of Management. And all of them come together upon various meetings, of course. And well, we discuss upon what are the industry trends, industry demands, both on the placement side as well as on the curriculum side for the subjects of the management programs. And then we combine it on the academic side, seeing what we are offering currently, what is the demand in the market, and structure it along the way. Normally, these boards and these academic bodies are formed by a combination of both industry as well as academicians, since we need this interconnection.
True, sir. So that brings me to the next question. So the education system in India and other foreign countries, especially as you come from Spain and you also lived in Mexico, are structured very differently and uniquely apart from each other. So in your experience, can an inbound student, what can he gain from studying here at your university?
Well, you see, Woxsen, despite of being a very young university, which is an advantage after all, since we are not stuck on the old methodology or old school applications, it's a very tech-driven university, as well as a very innovative, and global outlook is one of the key pillars we have. Hence, that number of partnerships that we have for exchange programs, as well as double degrees, will, of course, give these inbound students the edge. Plus, we are based in the city of Hyderabad, which, as you know, is one of the 2 key technological cities, metro cities in India, along with Bangalore. So this always gives us the edge that we have exposure to the industry, we have exposure to the culture, since, as you know, India has multiple cultures. So this will give the exchange students, as well as any foreign inbound students, that spirit, that edge. And obviously, the campus has nothing to envy any sort of European university in terms of infrastructure. So that is also an edge. People do not feel that they are really in an Indian institution, they feel they're in a world-class institution, which was the initial aim as well.
Perfect. So that even answered my next question, which was like how welcoming the university is to students coming from different races or economic backgrounds, which completely satisfies and falls parallel with your answer. So my next question for you is, thinking from the long perspective, what do you think should be the university's top priority in the next 10 years from now?
Well, the university top priority has always been and still remains to become a highly qualified and highly ranked institution in the international rankings. On the management side, the school side, we are talking about the Financial Times rankings, and obviously becoming a reference not just to the Indian scenario in terms of education, but also to the foreign scenario, which is very critical. Obviously, the focus of the university on all the spectrums, not just the VS school, but also the other schools, is much more oriented towards the technological side. That means utilizing tools such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, quantum computing, 3D printing, and so on and so forth is the key. As we have seen through and beyond the COVID-19 time, this will be what will drive society as a whole.
Yep. So any particular thing, like any key thing aspect that you would want the people, to the students, to the parents, you would like to convey through this interview that students as well as parents may not know about the university, something that is not visible, clearly visible, maybe over the website or over the promotional activities, but something that you would like to convey to the students?
Well, something which is not clearly visible will be difficult to highlight, since we tend to be open about everything that we do culturally or otherwise. But something that is very interesting or innovative, which is not there so much in the Asian context, not just in the Asian context, is that Woxsen has a number of opportunities for students to develop their own companies, and we have our incubation and seeding process for funding these particular initiatives or startups. So we are very much oriented towards that area, not just financially, but also providing guidance. So in campus, we have something called Career Connect, which also helps them not just get the placements or adequate job opportunities, but getting this initiation into the job role, as well as something called Trade Tower, which helps them as well, developing their ideas. And we guide them, faculty members, as well as the management. We help them developing their ideas.
True. So that brings me to the penultimate question that I have today. So talking about the biggest challenges you see, both for higher education in general and for your university specifically in the years to come.
Well, challenges for the education sector, if you're talking about the Indian scenario, which I suppose we focus on that. If you're talking about this particular national scenario, one challenge is going to be the resources that most institutions will lack at the end, because COVID-19 has demonstrated one thing, that online education is going to be key in many aspects, for one. Secondly, that technology involvement in education in any degree will be also fundamental, especially when you have to keep social distancing. So that's something that Woxsen has really worked upon in the last months, to ensuring the healthiness of the students and that technological innovation, as well as developing various labs. Woxsen has an artificial intelligence lab, an IoT lab, robotics lab. So everything is very much on the infrastructural side, which most institutions, be it in India or abroad, tend to lack, not just on the area of infrastructure, but also on the area of resources and capabilities.
Yeah. That's true. Absolutely true. And finally, the last question, any suggestions that you would like to give to the current youth and the aspiring students to pursue because as you see that these 4 years or 2 years of college education shape the next 40 years for any child. So any word of advice for the youth stepping into this area of domain of education?
Well, basically, most students right now are pretty scared because of the situation. They are concerned about what the future will look like, especially the job prospects. But when this particular crisis happen, pandemics or otherwise, is actually the time to step up and educate yourself and be beyond the others, because those people will graduate in either 2022, considering the join in 2020, or 2024. By that time, the pandemic situation as well as the economic situation will have slowed down, if not relaxed. Hence, is now the high time to embrace not just technology, but any sort of emerging areas, as well as step up, because either now is the choice for the students to adapt or perish. If you perish along with the rest of society, nothing fruitful will come out of it. If you adapt, possibly something really innovative and obviously fruitful for you will tend to appear.
So that's it from my side, sir. Thank you so much for squeezing out the time from your hectic schedule and showering upon us your thoughts about education. Muchas gracias, as I must say, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks.